Hi everyone, it's the English Simmer here. I would start this video off with Mariah Carey's It's Time, but I can't sing, so therefore I won't. But it is the holiday season. But you know me and you know that I love tier rankings, especially when it is about the Sims franchise. And so I decided why not actually look at all of the holiday objects and items that we have not only just in the Sims 4 base game, because there was a holiday pack introduced once upon a time, but I'm fairly sure it's just like a free part of base game. I'm fairly sure everyone gets their hands on this, and every so often it's updated to include more holidays, more traditions, more cultures, which we love to see. Of course, we're not only just celebrating Christmas right now. Very happy Hanukkah to everyone. Also, Kwanzaa is very much coming up. So I hope everyone is enjoying this period where we feel like we can wind down and just spend some time with the people that we want to spend some time with. And I want to spend some time with you lot tier ranking these items. I'm not actually doing create a sim this time around. These are purely items from build and buy mode, and I'm also going to be taking into consideration the actual like usability of these items and the interactivity. Firstly, we have this table. I mean, it's a table. I guess you can put party food on it, but you can't really like use this as a buffet table. It's not really one of those items that you can click on and be like, serve some food. It just kind of has like Christmassy colors on the tablecloth, and even then they're not great colors. I kind of just want to say quickly, a lot of the colors on these objects are like a red and a green and a blue, and then also some like yellow or gold thrown in there every so often. And that's for the base game stuff. And then Seasons also just takes some stuff that we already had from the base game and repurposes it in a sense, or kind of adds additional colors. So these are more blue, purple, and yellow. I just wanted to give that clarification before we actually get into it. So I'm actually going to put this in Grim Reaper. It's a very boring one to start with. I will say these are like the extra long version of the lights. They're also not like traditional fairy lights. They're more of a festoon light. Also, not gonna lie, they are super duper flat. They just kind of disappear. I also don't know if these actually light up. It is 8 a.m. right now. Even if they do light up automatically, the fact that you can't just turn them on and off is a disaster anyway. I never decorate with these. I don't think they look very good. This long one in particular is one of the worst looking ones in my opinion. That's actually going to go into Tragic Clown. I'm trying to figure out, I think this is also slightly long, but that's slightly more usable, so that's going to go into Grim Reaper. This is the slightly shorter one, which is also going to go into Grim Reaper, but slightly more usable. And then this one is going to go into Crumple Bottom. I think if you don't have anything else and you're looking for some decorative lights that maybe don't even light up, but I will test that and edit in a clarification on that point. These are actually a set of 9 candles that sit on the floor. These actually are lit in the game, which I know, surprising after we've just seen those lights. And these are Rangoli ground candles. These candles are perfect for placement on your favorite Rangoli designs. Now, I absolutely love this. I love that we can celebrate Diwali in the game. I absolutely love that these come in a free base game update, and they are also inclusive and very much offer representation when it comes to holidays, and I think that is extremely important, and it's honestly one of the things that Seasons kind of missed, but I would always prefer that kind of representation and people being able to celebrate the holidays that they celebrate with their Sims without a monetary lock on it. So it's definitely better that this came in a base game update. And of course, these candles are going straight up into Motherload. Next, we have a garland. It's a very short garland and it's got little snowflakes on it for those of you who maybe can't make this out because it's like white on a white background. So it's really hard to see, I imagine, especially on video. video. These do just come in a couple of different colors, but there's like a blue set, like more of a silvery set, and then a gold set. If these more reminded me of like the snowflakes that I used to cut out of paper with my grandparents, I think I would rank it a little bit higher, but it's definitely not offensive in any way. So it is going to go into crumple bottom above those offensive fairy lights. This is actually just like a potted kind of tree and then has like silvery icicles falling off it. Again, it isn't a light, it's purely used for like a hallway decoration, but it is very much giving like early millennial, you know, like silver and gray, the kind of crushed velvet. I imagine this kind of thing in a crushed velvet filled household, which you can't really recreate. Has anyone ever tried to recreate a crushed velvet household in The Sims 4? I feel like that would be really difficult. That definitely felt like more of a UK trend than a US trend, from what I saw online anyway. I am really not a fan of this. Then we have some wall garland. This is, you know, your fresh cut greenery. I imagine it smells delicious as it's hung on your wall. This is what it actually looks like in the game. You got some baubles on here. You got some pine cones on it and a big old bow, which the bow actually looks, it's still pretty flat, but it still looks okay. And it does come in quite a range of colors. That's making its way into rosebud. Then we have some snowflake decals. These ones right here, they come in different kind of patterns, you know, every snowflake is individual, just like humans. No snowflake is the same, but these aren't the best. I also don't really like the color choices available. I guess they could be kind of cute in like a kid's bedroom. Who knows? If I was still playing my Sims 3 Generations, maybe they'd make it into the Frost household. But those are also going into crumple bottom. This stunning art piece, I honestly wish there were more variations of this. Add the warmth and light of the holiday season year round with this print by artist Holidays. I'm trying to look if that's an actual artist, but I can't see any of their stuff if they are. But what a great name if they are an artist, especially being included in things that were to celebrate the holidays. But I think that's why I'm like, is that a Sims pun or is that a real person? I really love this. So again, it's gonna go up into Motherlode. I just love the art. I think the colors used on it are so nice. This little gremlin, a miniature nutcracker. He's not for me. I don't like a nutcracker. Speaking my truth, I find them some of the creepiest decorations that you can have around the festive season. I don't like their little beady eyes. I don't like how angry they look all of the time. He is a smaller one, so it's not as bad, but I'm gonna put him into Grim Reaper. However, he is a little more intriguing than the other stuff I have put in there. This is going straight into Tragic Clown. This, one of the worst pieces we've ever had in the game. I don't get it. Like, if it was an ice sculpture, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool, you know, you got a snowflake made of ice, kind of like a table decor, but it's literally just like a model of a snowflake. It comes in one color, it doesn't light up, it doesn't look like it's made of ice, it's just all round bad vibes. I don't like it. The sandy snowman. I so wish that if you had the packs that have like beaches and like sand available, or even actually, even if you just had base game and you could like put sand down in a sand pit, I wish that you could actually physically make him. He is just decor, but I do absolutely love, especially for the people who celebrate the festive season in the Southern Hemisphere, where it is in fact summer right now. I think this was so fun for them to include. Next up, we have this banquet kind of dining table. I mean, I have no beef with this. It is going into crumple bottom, but that's just because it's a table. There's not really much else I can say about it. It's long, it does what it needs to do, you know, you could fit a lot of people around here. You could just have this as a side table, as like a banquet. Good old spread on here. It's got some little tassely bits, it's got some ribbon, it's got some greenery on it, probably smells good. Hopefully this doesn't spike you. And also very curvaceous. Hello there. Okay, enough. I don't know why I have two of these, because it is the same snowman, I'm fairly sure. Management wants you to find the difference between these two photos. I do think he's quite cute, you know, if you want to decorate your front garden, or if you want to have him on the porch or something like that. You, sir, are going into Rosebud and your twin is staying down here. The tree. Now, this isn't the seasons tree. This is just the pre-decorated version that comes in base game. Apparently, you can light this tree. I didn't really notice a difference when I did that in my game, but again, I will check that when it actually does go dark outside. We could potentially see the difference, but you don't get any of the fun of decorating it. This is just kind of for those of you who may not have seasons, who also still want to have like a tree up in your house. And I don't have beef with it, but it's just like not as fun, is it? So it does its job, but I don't like that it's purely decorative. That is why I'm putting it into crumple bottom. Next up, we just have these papercraft ceiling decorations that you can see over here. So you kind of got some baubles. See, I prefer those because they look like the snowflakes that I used to cut out with my grandma. I also quite like the leaves ones. Of course, they are more autumnal than like the festive period. I also like that you could use these for different holidays as well, and you can kind of like imagine your kids like crafting these. Although ceiling garlands sometimes do feel a bit useless in The Sims 4 specifically. I know now we can paint our ceilings, which I guess makes it a little better, but usually they disappear anyway, or they just get in your way whilst you're actually trying to play. I think really the only use case for them is if you actually want to take screenshots and like have your ceiling decorated. However, that is not a flaw on the actual item itself. That's just like a flaw of the game in general. So you are going into Rosebud. Then we have the present piles, which these are really boring, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're good for birthdays. Again, unlike the seasons ones, these ones aren't actually usable. And there are some like festive versions of these, like the stars are a little bit more festive. But these you can kind of get away with for like all occasions. They don't just have to be Christmas. If you actually want usable presents in your game, you have to get seasons, which I just don't really know why that is a thing. I don't know why when that came out with seasons, they didn't just add it to these base game variants as well. I just think not being able to open presents on these kind of does bring them down, but I do like that they have multiple use cases. Next up, we have the Rangoli designs, and again, I just love that they included all of these. I also just love how colorful these are. They are rugs in the game because obviously they kind of needed that functionality, and it does kind of just look like they are rugs. I feel like they haven't played around with the texture too much because you can create these patterns with colored rice, sand, petals, powders, and you place them down at entrances during festivals like Diwali to welcome Lakshmi and then other guests. Whereas these do just kind of feel like they're a little fuzzy. They do kind of just look like rugs, but I still really appreciate that we have them in the game, and I also just love the pops of color. And this one also comes in like unique designs, which is sick, whereas these ones, wait, there's a spiral one as well. I didn't even know that was in the game. I thought it was just the bird. This fireplace, too oversized. Yeah, it is cozy, but it's also doing a little bit too much. It's good. I know Kayla did this year because she wanted to kind of fight against the AI versions of like the log, like the Yuletide kind of like stagnant videos that you can have, but that's like the one use case for it. I think otherwise it's just like too oversized and a little bit too ornate, so I'm actually gonna put that into Grim Reaper. The chalkboard sign. I actually really love the little chalkboard sign. I use these quite a lot in my homes. Sorry to live, laugh, love on you all. I don't actually have one of these in my own home, but I do really love the like homemade, kind of handmade, hand-drawn feel of this. So you're gonna go just behind, oh, the snowman's chilling together. How cute. This, I don't even know why it's included in the holiday pack. It's basically just like a false fireplace. It's just a mantelpiece. and it comes in the most like basic colors. I don't know why they just didn't add this as a regular item, so it's definitely going into a Tragic Clown. We have another garland, but this is the Hanukkah garland. I'm so glad that there's a variety of holidays that you can celebrate. Also, I am wishing everyone a safe and happy Hanukkah. I think it's extremely important right now to not conflate Zionism with being Jewish, and I just wanted to send some love to the community whilst also still standing for a free Palestine. This one has like no correlation, by the way. Do not think that I am pitting cultures or religions against each other. That is absolutely not the case. I again love that we all get to celebrate however we in our lives celebrate the festive period. I'm glad that our Sims also get to do that, and I think that is the most important thing when it comes to actually having these holidays and all the traditions that you can actually do in seasons. I think people very much underestimate if you're not part of a community. Sometimes people really don't realize the importance of representation, or they're like, this is DEI and we should stop pushing this into our games, and it's like, no, people deserve to see themselves and objects that are so important to us and how we celebrate. Like, just seeing those within the game offers so much of like a feeling seen by the people who create this game, and I think that's really important. Which I guess now we have many wreaths in The Sims 4, but this one isn't my favorite. It's a little bit basic, and also it's quite oversized, but I actually quite like the size of it. Like, she's doing a lot. She's letting you know that she's there. She's large and in charge, but she is just gonna go into crumple bottom. This is more so because you can't actually like hang these on doors or anything, and sometimes when you do, if you place it on a door using move objects, it used to be that you could walk through them. I don't know if they fixed that recently, but last year when they were doing the timed event, there was a glitch that meant you could walk through these anymore, which kind of defeats the purpose of a wreath for me personally. These are going straight in to Motherload because I have such visceral memories of making these in school. It was one of my favorite days of the year where they were like, bring some jars into school tomorrow, we're gonna make homemade snow globes, and then you could just stick like Christmas trees or whatever you wanted, and then you'd fill them with like fake snow, and then you just have a homemade snow globe. I should have done that as a video this year, like making some holiday items. That would be so fun. The flip-flops garland, I'm so sorry, I really don't like it. I didn't like this when it first got introduced. I just gotta know, do people really do it? I think I like it for how iconic it is, and let's be real, it is more fun than the snowflakes. From the base game update, I think these may have come after Seasons came out, or maybe they came out like just like the pre-patch before Seasons, but we have the Kanara and also the Menorah, and then there are two versions of these that also exist in Seasons. So I'm gonna put these together just because I do think the Seasons ones, annoyingly, the paid content, of course, look slightly better. Like, there's actually more of a design to these two from like a visual perspective, in my personal opinion. You might prefer the like plainer ones, but these are really cool because you can just light one candle and then you can click on it again and you can light the next candle, which is kind of counting the days of these celebrations, and I love that functionality. So these are also, of course, going right on up there in Motherload. Look at this bad boy over here. Again, I don't know if this actively lights up. I'm gonna have to like 3-speed through to the evening to see if any of these actually light up automatically. This again is kind of giving Frozen. Although I do think it's like one of the only trees that we have that kind of have lights on it, which I very much appreciate. So that is actually going to bump it up a little bit. It's going to go into Rosebud. These are some glass jars with some little candles in. These do actually light up. They're just kind of like a table setting with some leaves in between. I kind of, again, love how like DIY and rustic these are, and I also use them quite frequently. Not even just for like the festive period or like decorating my Sims home over the Winterfest. I think these just generally make quite a good decoration. They're quite versatile, and from what we have learned so far, I appreciate versatility. We have the kind of logs with candles in them. I feel like these are a little less versatile unless maybe you have like someone who really loves nature and you have a sim that loves the outdoors. You could consider these like Yule logs if you wanted to, but they are just kind of a natural table setting, and therefore they are going to go, honestly, maybe just above the tree. I just don't feel like I really get use out of them. Whereas the pillar candles, I actually quite like these. They have a lot of foliage around them, but I'm gonna put them in crumple bottom. We have this bench, which kind of pretty much exactly like this mantelpiece. I don't know why it's part of the holiday collection because it does not look festive whatsoever. It comes in really basic colors. There's maybe like one that has red pillows on the bench, like the seat. But apart from that, I don't know why it's there. So this is also gonna go into Tragic Clown. I guess usable, but not festive whatsoever. Next is the Dia. This oil lamp is a perfect accent piece for any Diwali celebration. I do kind of wish that maybe a couple of these items, and I feel like they've started doing this more recently, especially when they do include items of different cultures, they kind of write a much longer description, which also is used as like an educational piece. I love learning about traditions through this game. Like, this game has always been educational for me, and The Sims 4 has just taken that like 1,000 steps more forward. Hello, I always say it, but I absolutely would not be able to say the word miscellaneous if it weren't for The Sims. Next, we have this light, which has like foliage over the top. It is a ceiling light, which I know I just poo-pooed all over ceiling decorations when it came to this garland, but I actually get a lot of use out of this light. It hangs like quite low, depending on your ceiling height, obviously, but I actually really like it for kind of outdoor like cooking areas or like dining areas. I think it adds a nice focal point over dining tables, so this is actually going to go into Motherload because I just use it a lot. The surfing Santa, I mean, I can't put him anywhere but in Motherload. He is iconic. I'm glad that he exists. Just like the Sand Pal, it's a big thumbs up from me. The wall speaker, I don't like you. I don't know, it just feels like a cop-out. And I'm fairly sure it just plays winter music, although that might not be true, so don't quote me on it. Moving on to the seasons versions. Now, there are some seasons objects that do actually have like a more festive swatch to them. I know that people are going to be like, you forgot the mailbox. But I wasn't going to go through every single swatch, and I kind of just wanted to use the ones that you can like actually use to decorate, and I feel like the ones that have these swatches from the get-go are the ones that you would use to decorate. So I have to say, base game, way more representative, way more inclusive, but again, I'm kind of happy that that's not just only in seasons, because then you'd have to pay for that. And I think it's always important to have it like in the base game. However, I maybe would have liked to see like some recolors or something in seasons, just so it didn't feel lacking on that front. But we have this side table with this kind of like very festive cloth over it. I don't honestly think this is as usable as this big long one, although I guess you can still put some food on it, and if you want it like tucked away to the side, this feels like something my grandma would have for sure. And it is going to go into crumple bottom. Next, we have this small present pile. Now, this one actually is usable. You can add presents to this pile. You can steal presents from this pile. You can also prank presents in this pile. Again, they have that usability outside of the festive period if you do want to use them for birthday parties, etc. So they are going straight on up into Motherload. We got both of those. The decorations box, is it a useless item? I don't know. I feel like everything you get out of the decorations box, you can just buy in your catalog. I guess you get it for free because this only costs 100 simoleons, and then whenever you rummage for decorations, you get 3 objects out of that. And I guess you can decorate your house using this. So I take it back. It's not a useless item, but I also don't think it's super important aside from decorating like the eaves of your house, etc. And it does kind of just take up room, but hey, does doesn't that add some realism? Because that's exactly what Christmas decorations do in real life. So that is going into rosewood. We've got the wall decals next. So really quickly, I just want to check these out. The freezer bunny ones are actually really cute. Also gay pride, which we love to see. And then we have these absolutely terrifying Christmas trees, but the rest of these are quite cute. I never use these decals. I will say, okay, there is a little bit of rep in these. They're really cute, and the artist did a really, really good job on them. I don't like those Christmas trees. They're looking into my soul. I just feel like it's so easy to forget what are actually on those decals, but because I like the art style, they're actually going into rosewood. I never use them. I don't know why I'm doing that, but they're there. I wish we had light shows. I feel like America makes such a big deal over like Christmas lights. And like houses get absolutely decked out. And I wish that you could do like light shows in seasons. Next up, oh, how did I forget this? This is part of the holiday collection. This is in base game. The Christmas cracker. I am the English simmer. That's an English tradition right there. I don't know. Are these popular like anywhere else outside of the UK? I feel like I never see people like pull Christmas crackers. But you know, you get your hat that you got to wear whilst you have your Christmas dinner. Then you get a silly little toy or a tape measure so all of my brothers can measure the size of their heads. That's a thing that they do every year. That's a family tradition. I love a Christmas cracker, and I also love how they're usable in this game. You actually get a physical collection from the Christmas crackers, which is just iconic if you ask me. These are like a bundle of paper craft flowers that stick on your wall. No, not very good. Again, another kind of paper craft decoration. They're fine. They can go into crumple bottom. I do like this. Again, you got some greenery with some little baubles hanging down. I think those are really cute. So straight into rosewood. More ceiling decorations. First one are these like trio sets of stars. And then we have the more traditional like paper lanterns. But again, it's ceiling decor. Like really, how much are you going to use that? Like see it in your game. This I use all of the time. It's just this garland right here. It's always much bigger than I remember it being. I tend to like size it down, but I really, really love this. I think the bow is just like great quality. Surprisingly, really good quality for The Sims 4, especially for like a decor item. Do these actually come in like little ghosts? There's little skulls and hearts. Oh wait, these are actually quite cute, but not for the more festive side of things. They're cute for the Halloween and also for like birthday parties and Valentine's Day, which I mean, I guess they are part of the holidays. They're gonna go up into rosewood. Are also going in rosewood. I don't think you're as iconic enough as these guys, but you're up there. The big fans. Now, I actually don't mind these, but I don't like them when your sim puts them up like on your fences or anything like that. I feel like they're too big when they're up everywhere. But a little one like here or there dotted around do look okay. Actually, I'm really not a fan of them. I don't know why I was trying to kid myself. They're just too big. Like, I genuinely think these fan things are too big. Then we have these like little decorations that we got going on here. There's a New Year variant. Again, there's like some wedding ones and some springtime ones and some Hanukkah ones and some Kwanzaa ones. Okay, you know what? The season's representation is slightly tucked away. You just can't see it from the get-go. I kind of just have to remind myself of like all of these and the swatches. These ones aren't really, although I do love the gay ones. Using these for pride. Why do I not use these? I didn't know this was happening. I'm getting distracted. I'm getting ahead of myself. Those are pretty basic, so they're going in crumple bottom. These streamers, now that I've looked at them, you're actually going into rosewood. These like stars that you can hang up on the wall are a little bit too big in my opinion, so they are also going into Grim Reaper. The little holiday ones keep making their way in. I don't know how I missed them, but this is just a wall garland. It is actually the smaller footprint than the seasons one, so this is actually gonna go ahead of the seasons one. But you know, same kind of vibe. This one is just a little bit more ostentatious. I've never been a streamer, girl. I don't really get the streamer thing. Obviously not like gamer streamer, I am a streamer. I mean like for decorations, I would just prefer a banner, you know, balloons, which is hilarious as someone who isn't a huge fan of balloons and is actually quite scared of them. These are going into Grim Reaper. We have the lanterns that can kind of be used at Christmas markets or to light up like a town. It very much gives Hallmark movie. Is it super usable? I personally don't think so. These are very, very large, and they're more, I think, for like creating themed areas like outside for your neighborhood. So I'm actually gonna also put those in Grim Reaper. My babies, my little like homemade wooden handcrafted reindeer. I don't know why I love them so much. I think I just love them because they look so homemade. Do I wish that you could actually craft these on the woodworking table? Yes, absolutely. But they are going into Rosebud for sure. We have this hanging like lantern, which I'm going to be so real. Before getting ready for this video, I don't think I've ever paid attention to this in my entire life. I did not know that this existed within the game. It is actually a light, like it has a full on like bulb and like light fitting in there. Wait, these do light up. I could have just done that the entire time. Let me also turn this tree on. I don't know if it's broken right now. That's the base game tree. Oh no, it does light up. It just has to be dark. They still don't look the best though. This is kind of everything that lights up. I did not know that Santa lit up. These also have like a slight light to them, but it kind of doesn't bump them up. I thought these might light up, but they don't. Surprisingly, because I never knew that this existed, it's gonna go into Grim Reaper. It's very forgettable. The Christmas tree, like the actual usable tree, you can put presents under this, you can decorate it. It can also set on fire, which you know me, I absolutely love the chaos. I love the interactivity on this. I think that definitely makes it stand out over all the other trees that we have. This is like the Winterfest tree. You know, this tinsel kind of garland door frame isn't for me. It does remind me of something my grandma might have in her house, which I love. I love a little bit of kitschy. I just much prefer this, which is kind of like this hanging curtain, like frame thing with little bows on it. I think this is way more my alley, and this is actually going to go into Rosebud. The light up snowman, I just don't think you're weirdly as cute as the base game one. Not to pit Snowpal against Snowpal. Not to measure your, I was going to say carrot noses against each other, but I think they both have little button noses. This one does light up, so it kind of has that one over it, but it's much more oversized. There is yet again just another tree. This is decorative, it's not usable. However, it's way more decorated than the base game one. This is actually going into Grim Reaper. I don't like the Seasons tree, let that be known. More just like table garland, you can go in Crumple Bottom. You're pretty average. I do like this wreath. This wreath has like good bows around it. It's also got some like oranges thrown in there, which makes it just feel like a winter time wreath rather than like actual like this is for the festive season, and I like a good wreath, so that's going into Rosebud. You can join your little friend, and then the tall version of you, horrific. Close your eyes in 3, 2, 1. There's your new sleep paralysis demon. Have fun getting sleep tonight, kids. Oh wait, now that I'm looking at the snowman, it's actually really cute. Oh, he does light up. I'm so sorry, mate. You just didn't have the option to light up. Oh, maybe you're actually a little bit more cursed, but you're actually really cute, but you are large. But we can size you down. I have regrets. The cards, they're going in Rosebud. You know, they're nice. I thought that you could write cards, but I don't know if you actually can write cards in the game. I feel like you can write Valentines, but don't quote me on that. I do wish that there was more interactivity around like cards. I wish that you could send cards for holidays. I wish that you could do more with like writing to other Sims instead of just like chatting with them either over the phone or the computer. I feel like we're really lacking stuff aside from technology in The Sims 4, actually. These, I don't understand. They kind of look like party hats on a mat. And I think they're called like the whimsy cones. And I just don't really understand. This is also a top hat. And I don't understand why there's a top hat as well. The little welcome mat, I do use this quite a bit. So it's going into Rosebud. You are joining your little friend over there. This wreath I definitely don't like as much. This one's actually going into Grim Reaper. It's this wreath right here, and I just don't like the way that it looks. I don't really understand what's going on with it. Like, it looks like just like a pillowed kind of wreath. And that's a little strange to me. They literally say they don't really do anything, but that's the point. I don't understand. Why do you exist? And this is the top hat. That kind of gives New Year's a little bit, but more so just because of like the horn. Cards on a string. That takes me back to my childhood. Get up there in Motherlode. We have a little candle in a lantern, which is like fine and all, but crumple bottom. You're not anything special. And then we have garland infused with candles. These are the big like pillar candles, which we did already have a version of that. The season one, again, just kind of offers a bit more color. And then this is more spread out, kind of like a table setting. So that is, in fact, going into Rosebud, because I do love a good festive wintertime table setting. It fills me with joy. It's the little things, you know? It's the little things that get me. The Christmas cards, hanging the Christmas cards up on the wall with like a bit of string, them constantly falling down and making me jump out of my skin whenever I was trying to watch TV. Did I let nostalgia play a big part in this? Yes. Do I think nostalgia plays a big part in the holidays in general? Absolutely. The holidays are never as magical as they were when you were a kid. So of course nostalgia was going to play a huge role in this. I think that's a pretty good tier ranking. But if you also would like to do this yourselves, I'm going to leave a link down below to this tier list that I created. Again, I might have missed some bits and bobs, but I just decided to go through seasons and like pluck the ones that I could see from the catalogue and also the holiday collection. I think I did a pretty good job. Oh, why didn't I do just like a naughty and nice list? I just stuck with the regular Motherlode, Rosebud, Crumple Bottom, Grim Reaper, Tragic Clown, but I should have just done naughty or nice. To be fair, I feel like this is nice, this is naughty, and then these are like half and half, depending on how you look at them. These are actually pretty just average, you know? They were mid. The mid kids. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. And again, I just hope you are having a lovely time of year. Whatever you are celebrating, however you're celebrating, whoever you're celebrating with, I hope it is a good end to 2025. And hey, if this year hasn't been great, there's always next year. This was fun to look back on. I feel like I haven't decorated my Sims houses like properly in a really long time. Winterfest is kind of just a holiday that comes and goes in my game. I think the most I ever do is like buy a Winterfest tree and have my Sims decorate it. But maybe I should put a little bit more heart into it. Actually, saying that, if you do want to watch a Let's Play where I put my whole heart into it, Growing Together is a very good one. I feel like I went hard on the decorations for Growing Together. Obviously, it was like a very familial family gameplay, so it definitely makes sense to make like a big deal over birthdays and big milestones in Sims lives, and holidays are obviously a part of that. I hope you have a good one, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.